Mind Yoga 101 with Nalini Om. Unlock your inner potential. Join us for an enlightening chat with Temple Yoga Club's founder, Nalini Om. We'll dive into the power of mind yoga, bridging science and spirituality, and how it can enhance your life. Nalini simplifies these ideas, making them accessible to all. Discover the mind's mysteries, meditation's magic, and practical tips for daily life. It's not just an interview, it's a journey of self discovery and growth. Welcome to the Wellness Driven Life Show, where you're about to go on a wellness driven ride. Let me share with you a little bit more about the guest that we have here today. Nalini is a seasoned biology professor and certified yoga instructor with over 15 years of experience in academia and yoga. She has taught at top institutions worldwide using storytelling to simplify complex yoga philosophies. Nalini integrates her biology knowledge into her yoga teachings, demonstrating her commitment to holistic well-being. I am so pleased to help welcome to the stage Miss Nalini Om. Welcome.
Thank you for having me, April. That was a wonderful introduction. Feeling so proud of myself.
Well, I think it's lovely to have you, and a very short biography reading that was, Nalini, and you have done so much more. And yes, of course, we absolutely should feel pride for the accomplishments that we create in life and the continued works that we bring to the world, which you certainly are doing. So outside of that mini biography, can you share a little bit more with us so we can learn about you?
More about me, the way this yoga journey started. I would like to share about that. Now my daughter is 22. When she was days old, not even 20 days old, she was, I think, 3 days old. At that time, what I noticed is that I'm not able to cope up with the kind of demand new mother is required to perform. And then suddenly, after a week, I noticed that I had excruciating pain at the place exactly where there is C-section surgery. And I was surprised. What is happening? I thought it will go away in a few hours after I eat and probably rest for some time. But then that exponentially increased, and I couldn't even sit and take care of my little baby. And that is when I noticed that I needed to go get some medical help. But then doctors couldn't do any tests on me because I was nursing my baby and she was on me. So that is when I noticed that I needed to go to doctors and I get some help, but they couldn't help. That is when I had to tap into my inner potential and say that there is something that must be there to keep me alive, because this pain is absolutely killing me. And after a few days, I got some help, medical help. And then after a few months, I noticed that this is not going away. The pain won't go away at all. And I needed to find a solution. I needed to find a solution which would help me come out of this pain and live a happy, fulfilling life that I have dreamed for myself. And that is how my mind yoga journey started. And here I am today after 15 years of learning about mind yoga, yoga for the mind. And the journey has got me to this place wherein I want to I want to help someone who is in a similar state or want to do better in life, in all aspects of life.
Nalini, that's such a fun way, a fun term to bring about mind yoga. And it's certainly an incredible place to start, right? When we realize that so much of our pain is tied to our thoughts, which is tied to emotion. And so when we start diving into that and researching that and learning that and then knowing it, we can start to make certain changes and starting with our thoughts. And not only that, but it's a continuous work, it's a continuous habit, right? Bringing forth mind yoga, which makes beautiful sense to me. Now, obviously, you're no longer in the pain, but when we experience such things in life where we go through excruciating pain and we hear that there's nothing that can be done and we are left to ourselves to figure something out, to do the research, do the work, then it really leads us on a journey of self-discovery.
You said it right. Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about what were some of the first things that you started doing that actually brought you relief during those times of torment, I want to say.
So first, I had to understand what went wrong, what led me to that stage, and what started that pain. So for that, I needed to understand my own body and trace back how that pain started and why I got that pain. And for that, I needed to use my mind to connect with myself. Let me ask you a quick question here, April.
Mhm.
Let's consider this as a rapid fire question, okay? Without thinking much, you can show with your hands a number. Okay, so this is a question to do with some numbers. I hope you got it already. So the question is this rapid fire, okay? Not even a second of time. You have to quickly say.
Okay.
Show me how many number of letters or alphabets are there in your name.
Oh my gosh, 5, I think.
Full name, including last name.
Oh, 10.
10. Okay, so when I said that, you know what you did? You
I
dived into
I
the
got it wrong, by the way. Now that I'm counting, I'm like, "Oh my gosh, I think there's actually 11."
I'm
That
glad we are
rapid
doing this.
fire, April's not so great at.
It's okay. You ask anyone, this is a rapid fire question. You ask anyone this question, they will be shocked. And you know what? They will not look at the camera, they will look somewhere else and they go inside their mind.
Yeah.
That is your mind. I wanted to introduce you to your mind.
Oh, I
So
love.
that is so
Yeah,
what.
we do. We look up, we look around, we're like, "Oh, wait a minute, I gotta gather that information." I say a lot that, the body is a robot controlled by the mind, and that's exactly what we're doing. The body is going and looking for the information.
So body is a robot looking for that information in that intangible field in which
Mm,
we exist. So mind is not matter. Mind is not an object, right? Mind uh, is an intangible energy field in which we live in.
mm.
So in this mind, where can I search and how can I redirect if I can't even see it? How can I redirect it wherever it is, spread out or in a particular place connected to my brain? I did not even know where it is. And then I had to use that to connect with my body and the situations that I went through. So that was my first attempt to connect with my own mind.
Hmm.
And
When you talk about that, you mentioned the situations that I've been through. Now, when for my research, so much of it is when I talk about our experiences are based on our thoughts and our emotions, and our bodies harbor all of that information, right? All of those experiences, those emotional turmoils, and then it just keeps replaying. And now when we're talking about the mind that is going and looking for that information, that's the replay, because we're going back and forth over and over and over with this loop system of how we felt and the emotional responses we experienced during whatever experience we had in our life. And until we learn how to shut that off, we're going to keep experiencing the same thing. Now, what I am starting to really put together here is, Nalini, because of the area that you were experiencing this tormenting pain, it has something to do with maybe the motherhood or the reproductive, or if we consider all of the locations in our body, the energy fields, this is really our grounding area, right? The very earthly part of us, the reproductive part of us.
So here is it's not a joke, it's not funny, but it sounds like that now. At that time, because my pain was at exactly that incision, April, I felt that maybe doctors or some nurse forgot a scissor or a knife inside me, and that is moving. And that must be causing the pain, right? So I needed them to do some kind of scan, but they wouldn't do a scan on me. And I'm like, I'm left with something inside, I think, and you're not taking it out. Okay. So it was bad. It was so bad that I was thinking everything everywhere. Right. So that was the thing. But then finally, when I got little relief, that is when I connected, as I said, using my mind, connected the mind to the body, and I traced back, as I mentioned, and I noticed that, okay, this is what happened. I wasn't taking care of myself. I wasn't eating very well, and I was popping in painkillers. And when I did some Google search, yes, Google search helps to a certain extent. And when I pop in painkillers peel off the inner layer of our digestive system. It is called mucosa layer. When that protective layer is peeled off, it starts to bleed and it hurts. Our entire digestive system, which is a pipe, which starts at mouth and goes all through, the pipe is always contracting and relaxing. So whenever that is happening, wherever those little scars are, they are bleeding and it's hurting. And that exactly was the thing which was giving me that excruciating pain. And I needed to do some more research, ask doctors, and get the painkiller as well as a pill which will keep the acid from hurting those scarred areas and take care of my digestive system and lifestyle. So that is how I was able to get out of that pain. But with mind yoga, I also understood one thing, that you take care of your body is healthy, and your mind is healthy. Calm yourself down. You're not anxious. You will slowly heal. It will take some time. This body is made of 50 to 100 trillion cells, April, not 1 or 2 billion or million, but trillion cells. And those cells are made of molecules. And it takes time. It takes time. It cannot happen in a week or in a day or in a snap. That was my journey.
Yeah, it definitely takes time because we're so conditioned to something. And so retraining something, rebuilding those neurotransmitters, it certainly takes time to do so. Now, Nalini, when we talk about mind yoga, could you explain to us a little bit, what does that mean to you? What does yoga mean to you?
Thank you for asking that. I love to explain this. yoga is a very popular word, April.
Yeah.
Um, Worldwide, many people know what is yoga, but then it is known for body sculpting method or physical exercise. Yes, it is, but it's only a small part of real yoga. Real classic yoga, or most part of the real yoga, is to do with the mind. And that is why I call it yoga for mind and yoga for body, for the body, or mind body yoga. And for me, yoga is discipline. Yoga is a self inspired discipline. And yoga philosophy, which I learned, or yoga wisdom that I learned, is from Patanjali, Maharishi Patanjali, Saint Patanjali from India. He has compiled 196 statements to talk about and to explain how the mind affects a body and how we need to control the mind, regulate or restrain the mind so that we can conserve the energy and we can be the best or lead a fulfilling life. And just to sum up in one more sentence, this yoga knowledge is complete knowledge which helps us to connect with self and mm, attain a complete and true happiness that we are all looking for.
Nalini, when I hear you talk about this and controlling the mind, kind of getting the reins on that, it is so pertinent part of the practice. And I love too that you mentioned it's a discipline. And that's exactly like we were talking about how it does take practice. It is a discipline and it is not easy to do. It takes time to sit with yourself to learn how to control the mind because we are very emotional creatures, right? And it's funny, I was just doing this morning where I was sitting with myself because I felt this very high emotional response to something that I'm having go on in my life right now. And it takes practice to bring yourselves continuously back to a state of not having expectations or not having that high emotional response, and to go into the ether of I am no one, no place, nowhere. And it takes a lot of practice to do that, to not associate yourself with people and things and how it makes you feel.
Yeah. I have something which you might not expect, April. Um, should we expect anything from others or should we not expect? This question came one day, and this is what I said to myself: expect everything from everyone. Expect everything from everyone.
Oh, I like that.
Why not? But we should know one thing: um, what is actually hurting me? Expecting from someone, or is the response which I already anticipated and I did not get? Is that lack of response or the disappointment that I have created in my head, is that giving me that sadness? And that is when I understood that happiness is in me. It is my responsibility to know what desires I want to fulfill and how I want to fulfill. And as a yogic karma, it is called, yogic karma is you perform the duty, but you don't expect anything from anyone, as you said. You do it because you want to give your best, and you want to do it because that is your true nature.
Mhm.
Helping someone, you get that satisfaction and you're giving your best. And if they are not giving the compliment that you are expecting, maybe in your back in your head somewhere, maybe not, it's not obvious and evident, but then the compliment is not required at all. If I'm very happy with myself, I'm doing it because it made me happy. Just by doing it, it made me happy.
Yeah, absolutely. This is an incredible conversation, Nalini. We're going to move into our commercial. And when we get back, I'm excited to pick this back up and talk more about our feelings and emotions and how the response to those things without expectation, but doing the things that bring you joy really have a massive effect. This is Brain Yoga. Stay tuned. Are you ready to take control of your ride to wellness? Rev up with Driven Living. Visit www.drivenliving.com and buckle up for a journey. Get exclusive access to our Wellness Driven Life Show guest portal, where you can dive deep into the minds of our esteemed guests. Sign up for our newsletter and get insider scoops on these distinguished personalities. It's like having a backstage pass to their life-changing wisdom. But that's not all. You'll also receive a free hug. You heard me right, a free hug. An enlightening ebook from the Driven Living team. Discover the science-backed benefits of hugging yourself. It's a fill-up for your wellness tank. Because at Driven Living, we believe in fueling your journey to wellness, both physically and psychologically. So what are you waiting for? Visit www.drivenliving.com today. Welcome back. We're here with Nalini Om. And so, Nalini, you have some beautiful insights and wisdom with mind yoga. And again, I love the concept of this. And, I think that the 4 agreements, kind of walking into that, really said it beautifully about how to not take anything personally and that everyone is living within their own dream. And it makes it easier when we have this understanding to not take it personally, because it's not about us truly. And we are, we're so conditioned to take things personally. And what happens is we harbor that within our bodies and our systems, and we become ill because of it, because we concentrate so much on that. And so what we're talking about is to start disciplining yourself to not do that. So let's talk a little bit about your background, Nalini. You have a biology background. And so how do you bridge the gap between science and spirituality when it comes to mind yoga?
That's my favorite part, April. So being a biologist, a scientist, I see science and biology in yoga and spirituality, and the other way also. In order to give an example, I'd like to take one common characteristic or a common habit, I must say, nowadays. As soon as people get some time, break, and they want to relax, they're tired. What people are doing is, I believe that many people are watching reels. Would you agree, April?
I think many people are on social media. I would agree.
They're on social media, reels and shorts, right? It's short videos otherwise. And what happens when we watch these as a daily habit is we are getting that little dopamine release from our brains. And that dopamine is called satisfaction chemical. And it is also a happiness chemical. It not only gives the satisfaction, but it also gives us a happiness. And it's quick and easy. And that is why it is called dopamine addiction. We want to go back to it again and again because previously when I did it, or previous time when I did it, it gave me satisfaction. So I want to do it again. I want to do it again. This is happening. But then we are not realizing one thing, that as we do this continuously, what happens to our brains and bodies is that the baseline of dopamine, it keeps increasing, and our brains become numb. And later on, after a month or 2 months or 1 year, how many ever number of short videos we watch, there is no satisfaction. And we are thinking that, oh my God, something is wrong with me. I'm not feeling good. I'm not happy. I'm not feeling like to do the work because how much ever I do, there is no return. This is a thankless job. And all these thoughts come up. We are not understanding that we have done this to ourselves. We are not popping in something, but then we are watching something. We are keeping our senses occupied and we are satisfying our brain and we are releasing. We don't even know. We can't even see that we are releasing dopamine, and that is happening. And that
Nalini,
is.
I have a question if I could just interrupt for a moment. But so could that be said similarly if we were doing something day in and day out that was in a positive light, right? When we start to recondition our mind and we're receiving that dopamine and it's exciting. Now you mentioned that our brains go numb with it. So tell me, can that be said in something that we would say is a positive reinforce. I'm not saying that right, but in a positive light. Mm-hmm.
What you're asking is that is it possible that instead of becoming an addiction, actually it is giving you information and happiness and in a harmless way? So don't you think it's a good thing? Is that what you're saying, April?
I'm saying because you said you can go numb with it, and because you're watching something all the time, you're getting that dopamine release, and then eventually we go numb. We're used to it. It's the same thing all the time, and but we keep going after it because we are expecting that dopamine release. But eventually, the body's like, yeah, we're done with this. Can that be said too with some sort of positive practice also?
Exactly. So what I'm saying is realize if you are not feeling very well, if there is any practice that you need to do in order to connect with yourself and trace back exactly like how I did, trace back and check with yourself, are there any lifestyle practices that I could change which will give me natural and true happiness? And that is exactly where yoga comes into picture, right?
Yes.
Instead of depending on an outside source, which will keep our brains engaged and our senses engaged, right? With all those animations and music, which is so harmonious for our ears as well as eyes, visuals, colorful visuals. Is there anything that I could do that which will give me true happiness from within? And that is exactly the meaning of or the purpose of yoga. Yoga purpose is to realize self, understand self. Here I would like to add something, April. We don't know self. First thing, we don't know self.
Always
What is
searching
that
for it.
self? We don't even know. What is that?
Always searching for self.
You're searching for self, and I'll introduce that self to you in a minute. We don't have to search because it is within us. It is us. So I'll finish this. Um, so we don't know self. So we do not know how to activate this self to experience that true happiness, infinite happiness. Whatever desires we have to satisfy those senses, all those desires, even when they are fulfilled, we are not going to feel that much happiness when we realize self. Now, let me introduce self to you. Ready? I want to ask you a question here.
Okay.
Take any individual, you, me, any person, okay, any individual. Who knows a person very well? Who would know a person very well?
Are you asking me to say,
Uh-huh.
okay, ask me again, because you said did you say take any person who knows me
Anything.
very well?
Uh-huh. It could be either you or me or anyone in the world who would know a person very well.
Well, I would say ourselves.
Exactly. There is something in us from the time we became conscious and until now, there is something in us which knows us very, very well. And that is self. You can call it awareness, you can call it consciousness, you can call it spirit, you can call it soul, or in Sanskrit it is called Atma. In yoga language, it is called Purusha. And we know that self. If we can realize that self and be in connection with that self and experience that self merging with that with the higher self, if you believe something higher self or universe which created this entire world, I do not want to call he or she, and connect with that higher self, cosmic self, and the kind of happiness we would experience is more than watching reels all day long. I like that little laughter giggle in you. I see that. I feel like you have connected with it for snap of a second.
Mm. Yes, that authentic self and all of those beautiful words that we have for that essence. And so so how was what were some of the first experiences you had when you realized you were connected with self?
I'm connected with self every morning. I feel the connection more every morning. The moment sleep breaks, I haven't even opened my eyes. I feel that. And the
Mm.
way we can experience, I can help you do that. Uh, I'll give you some instructions. You could do that right now with me, April, if you
Okay.
like to.
Yep.
Ready?
Yep.
Okay. May I ask you to close your eyes? I'll tell you when to open your eyes.
Mhm.
Yeah. Close your eyes and look at the darkness in your closed eyes behind that eyelids. You see the darkness. Try to see that. Don't worry about your breath. Don't worry about your posture. Don't worry about your thoughts. Let them come and go. Just keep your attention on the darkness behind your eyelids. And now try to straighten your posture, roll your shoulders up and back, and keep your attention on the darkness. Continue to do that. And add to this awareness, noticing your breath. Now, notice your breath along with the darkness and take deep inhales. Inhale deep and exhale. I want you to pay attention to your jaw. If your jaws are tight, clenched, then release your jaw, lower jaw. Notice with your mind's attention if your tongue is touching the upper palate, then release your tongue. And now, for a second or 5 seconds, however long you want to, release all these. Whatever darkness you're noticing, release that. You don't have to notice your breath either. Just stay with your awareness. Stay with your awareness. thoughts come and go. Don't worry about those thoughts. And you may come back whenever you wish to.
Back.
Okay. I hope that was calming and let me know how it felt.
It was great. It is calming, and it's always something that brings you back to the present and grounding. So I always appreciate doing those moments. Can you give some practical tips from yoga that you use in daily life? I know that this is something that you bring about with your morning routine, but what are some other practical tips that you have?
Hmm. Um, Yoga is for a practical life and to simplify our life. But then sometimes our mind and emotions, they become complex. Let me take emotions here. Um, if uh, if you want peace, abundance, and freedom in your life, yoga says this: if you want peace, then send out same vibrations. There is a saying, right, April? What goes around comes around, right? What we give is what we are going to invite back. And NASA has designed or proposed a shape. It's called torus. Torus looks like a donut. There's a scientific evidence that I'm trying to connect to this statement: what goes around comes around. So
Mhm.
NASA has done research and has proposed torus design to explain how the shape of the energy in the universe goes. And it says that whatever goes, the energy travels, it comes back to the same point where it has started from, or that it has traveled from the point where it has started. So that is how it goes. So if you want peace in your life, if you want to invite peace in your life, then you want to send out the same vibration. If we are violent and dishonest and telling lies, then then it is hard for universe to bring that back to you. Same thing, if you want to be wealthy, abundant, then we cannot acquire wealth in a wrong way and say that universe, please, by law of attraction, I ask you, I'm doing these affirmations and working so hard and I'm saving so much money, make me rich one day. I don't think that formula works that way. And the last one, if we want freedom, then and we are possessive, right? We are trying to possess the objects and the people and the relationships in life. We want to hold everything and put it to ourselves or keep it with ourselves. We are not giving freedom to the objects and the people around. Then how are we going to invite freedom into our life? So these are some of the principles that I learned, which I learned in yoga. Yamas and niyamas, they are called. The words in Sanskrit are yamas and niyamas. And they explained, or they taught me, how to invite peace, abundance, and wealth by using certain principles in mind yoga.
Oh, I just love that. Now, Nalini, when we talk about the sciences and everything that's happening, you've talked about NASA bringing in that. And so what is some of the things that you are most excited about coming to the forefront right now?
I have this desire to spread this word about yoga. That yoga is more than physical form. Yoga is also about the mind, how to lead this life in a fulfilling way. And I'm sorry, how to lead this life to invite what we want in life, but then following that path in which we are not only keeping our health and mental health, physical health, mental health, and spiritual health. We are taking care of all these fronts and we are going forward and rising high. And for that, I have created an app with my audios on Yoga Sutras, which are on a Telegram app. You can contact me. I can send you that information on how to subscribe to my Telegram app, Mind Yoga Audios. You can reach me at naliniom.com. There is a place where you can send in your information. And also about my new channel, Dr. Yoga Wisdom, on
Oh,
YouTube.
that's so exciting. I love that. Well, you have brought so much beauty to us in talking about mind yoga, explaining it to us when we didn't know before. So this is great. And again, it's been located on the screen a number of times. And also for those of you listening in, again, www.naliniom.com. It's also in the description below. Nalini, you've been lovely. Is there anything else you want to share with the audience today?
I would like to give a few things towards the end. For those people who are emotional, you want to use mind yoga and develop characteristics which will make you resilient and strong. I would like to say use neutral language. Figure out what you're saying. Is it too emotional, or is it something vulnerable? Is it looking like you're wearing your heart on your sleeves and walking? Then learn some neutral language and start using neutral language. I'll give you an example here. A year ago, I read an email from my coworker. She said, "I'm so hurt. Nobody in this team responds to my email." And I was wondering, how can I change this language? As an example, instead of saying that I'm hurt, nobody responds, we can say it this way: I appreciate a response from my team members. That's an example. And if you're hurt for some reason, you are self criticizing yourself, then I would like you to follow a formula. Think. Find out what you're saying to yourself. Is it true? Is it helping? Is it inspiring? Is it necessary? Is it kind? What you're saying to yourself. Think. 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 True, helpful, inspiring, necessary, kind. So these are the last two tips that I would like to share with your audience, April.
I love your Think acronym. It is so neat, and it certainly makes us think differently and a little more outside the box. I love that it's necessary. Is it kind? Is it loving towards us? You know, we so often again getting caught up in all of the things that we're so familiar with thinking that it's difficult to bring ourselves out of that. So when we utilize that Think acronym, it certainly can help bring us back to a more loving, compassionate thought process for ourselves.
Exactly. Well said.
That's beautiful. Thank you so much, Nalini. It has been a pleasure having you on the Wellness Driven Life Show. I want to thank you again for being our guest.
Thank you for your interest in mind yoga, and keep practicing. Happy practice.
Yes. And thank you so much for our audience. Without you, the show wouldn't be possible. So thank you so much for tuning in. Be sure to see in the description more about Nalini and Mind Yoga. Goodbye for now, and we will see you next time.